This podcast, we intend to capture journeys and insights of visionaries shaping the future of Indian businesses. Here is our today's guest, Mr. Adith Linga of Furniture World, a trusted name in the home and lifestyle retail. He is also co-founded Vanto, a design-led venture redefining contemporary furniture. With his passion for travel and an active role in YEA, he brings a global perspective and fresh thinking to India's evolving furniture business. So, with that, I would invite Mr. Adith to the podcast today. Thank you, Adith, for taking out your time. We're so happy to have you here. We want to understand a little bit about your initial years of getting into this business. For how was the initial phase like? Getting into family business is a thing in of its own, right? So, how was it
Yeah.
like?
Hi, Sajanya. Firstly, thank you for doing this. I'm generally very camera shy and then I keep my thing very private, but I don't know. Because I worked with Ant, then I was like, okay, I'm obliged to get on to this.
Thank you so
But,
much.
anyways, it's a good platform to start with. Anyways, answering to what you have asked me, yeah, I think it's a natural progression to be doing this. I think most of the family businesses are structured or inbuilt in a way, I think, from when we're kids, that it's something you'll have to take up. So I think we conditionally built on a platform. I think most family businesses in India about we see our parents, we see how hard they worked, and we're conditioned to take it forward. We don't come from nuclear families or a lot of joint families. So there's a great structure and values and ethics that you built from day one, and somewhere you're conditioned. Even if you tend to explore yourself out in the world, there's a tendency to come back and support what your family has created in the society around you. So I think that automatically drives you to take up any challenge that comes up, or an opportunity rather, I would say, to take up in your course of action. And in my case, I was doing my master's in Manchester Business School, and I was just 22, 21, 22 when I was just finishing masters, and then that's when I was having a detailed call one day with my dad, and there was a great business opportunity that he was starting, and then he wanted an extended hand which he saw in me, then which was thrown at me. In terms of an opportunity, I would think of it now. But back then, I thought about it as a curse, literally, because I didn't want to do that. And then I had to maybe rather say forced into it. At that point, I was a kid. What else would I know? But I see the value of it, what happened to me in the last 12 years of doing that now. So I think that way our parents would have shaped us in family businesses to put us in the right space. Maybe it's not what you want in the beginning, but eventually you grow into it and then I think you grow up the ladder from it. It's definitely not what I intended it to be in the beginning.
I come from a third generation of a family business of jewelers. I
Oh, nice.
completely resonate with you in terms of what my cousins and all of them go through. Initially,
Correct.
there is resistance, there is wish to explore the world, and
Correct.
eventually they all realize the value of what is
Yeah,
already
and
built. And
correct. And I didn't get a chance to even explore a year or so outside of my, which I still wish I did, but I would have lost a great opportunity, which has become so big for me today, which would have been handed over to someone else. So I see the value of that being in my hand 10 years, 12 years ago.
you touched upon a very interesting thing. When the opportunity is ripe, it is the timing which is very important, right? So your
Correct.
father spotted an opportunity for you,
Correct.
and you were right there at that time available to take it up. Can you tell me a
Correct.
little bit about the process of spotting these opportunities and timing them? Because that is a very
Correct.
big piece our people outside family businesses struggle with. But for
Correct.
people in family businesses, it somehow comes naturally.
Naturally, correct. So I think we come from three generations of family businesses. My dad, though part of the main family, he somehow moved out, venturing out when he was kind of, I would say, he was a first gen entrepreneur on his own, though drawing principles from the main family when he set out. For me, he's the first gen entrepreneur, what he's doing. I would always say my dad was like a master of pivoting into different businesses at the right time, which may seem very hectic and be somewhat frustrating at that point. But we've always seen in the last 15, 20 years that in 5, 7 years, we've seen great pivots that he has done, which has helped us transform into a stronger company every 3 years, every 4 years into new business opportunities. We started with a small furniture outlet like any other mom and pop store. But today we are a conglomerate, I would say maybe in a small sense. We have multiple verticals catering to different sectors of the market. We have about 30 showrooms in the city. We have a state of the art manufacturing facility. in Hyderabad, which is about 500,000 square feet. I would say I own about 500,000 square feet of retail space in Hyderabad. I have lifestyle stores at the scale of 50,000 square foot stores into two. But I think the opportunity, what he's been trying to do about Banto specifically was Hyderabad was growing. India was growing about 10, 12 years back. And then he could slowly see that there was a need for better lifestyle stores, which didn't exist, with a better service standard and better customized products, which the market wasn't doing then. So he could identify there was a lot of branded furniture people were inquiring about and trying to import a lot of furniture, but the whole process was very fragmented. There was no structure. There was no there are a lot of agents in the market without any backing, and you could not trust these agents with crores of rupees. So that's when I think he saw an opportunity to build this. What he's done, the lifestyle segment to our company. We have two stores, Altos and Manto, who deal with very premium luxury furniture and furnishing solutions for high-end luxury residents. So that was about 10, 12 years back. And then after 5 years of that, he threw one more opportunity at me. I need to add this, which was he pivoted into manufacturing doors and frames. When Hyderabad was booming into a real estate market, and he saw a need with his expertise of manufacturing that all the builders need thousands and thousands of quantities of doors and frames, which is a basic option, but no one could identify. Yeah. No, all carpenters and those kind of fragmented people were working on these things. But he saw that if you attach a certain structure and manufacturing impact with the goodwill of Furniture World Group, I think we will be able to sell. So, simultaneously, about 2016, 17, he started the doors vertical, handed over to me also again, in terms of being the front end to it and pushing it to the builders and all my high end. That's when I was handed two beautiful opportunities, which I think I'm reaping benefit.
These are very different ideas, right? One is a proper B2B, which is
Yeah.
very much
If you
on the
if you
element
listen to
of.
what all we do, it's crazy.
I mean, at your end also, Adith, you're fresh into the business. I mean, now not anymore. But when you were handed these two opportunities, you were fresh into the business, and you are handling completely different kinds of client. Somebody who is
Correct.
kind of a contract-based buyer from you behaves
Correct.
in a very
Exactly.
different way from a premium customer who is looking for lifestyle furniture. So these are two different worlds. One is purely B2C, one is a hardcore B2B, which works
B2B,
on
purely
margins.
B2B, margins
Yeah.
and pure
So
pushing.
tell me a little bit about how you switch between these two roles. How do you make sense of this complexity of world, and how do you organize your time and work around these
This
two
is a
different animals?
great question. So when I keep getting handed opportunities, or I get opportunities, I'm very clear with me, my team, my structure that company needs to be run on processes. Most family business don't run on processes. It's something I've set up from day one, even I was a fresher, that the business needs to run even in my absence. Correct?
Right.
The first thing. And I've always told myself that I need to wear multiple hats. When I'm doing a B2B pitching, I wear a different hat. When I'm with a B2C, it's a different hat. Doing these things, I've clearly realized the value of people helping me in this whole process. And I always realize that right people in the right position will drive your business automatically. And then I have different setups and verticals driving these two. And I just bring strategic vision to both the verticals. And I need to keep juggling, obviously. I'm sure I see the big leaders of the world doing big things and wearing bigger hats. So why not me at a much smaller level? I'm sure I can do it. So that's what I do. And we do multiple things. This is just crazy that you asked about B2B, B2C. I'm fully backward integrated now. Like from a home, I start off, except the civil part, like I do, we as a company, different verticals, we start from doors, customized wardrobes, kitchens, lifestyle furniture, then furnishings, then all the interiors. We do all those sorts of things, but with different companies. So it was completely started off in the last step of the cycle of the customer, which is furniture trading. But we moved slowly backward into furniture manufacturing and integration of products. And all these products that I'm talking about, it's not only the luxury segment. I'm also below the market also. I work even in the mid premium segment for the IT offices. I have a brand called FWD. I have about 7, 8 showrooms. That I have Kivo, which competes with Homelane and Live Space. So I have different brands in different segments of the market that we have done. So Furniture would hold structure to all these companies.
Two great points there. One about right people at the right place and
Yeah.
managing everything through process. So
Yes.
I'm assuming that there is a lot of tech that you use.
Yes.
What from your education have you brought into the tech way of process implementation? And being an unorganized market like furniture, how do we ensure that these things get percolated down the organization's levels?
Correct. So first, what I've done when I was back, what I've studied, what I'm doing is predominantly different. Happens in most of our cases. I've not learned any tech for me to bring back tech, but I went to do my masters so I can actually meet people. I love meeting people from across the world. So there were about 80 nationalities in my class, which was brilliant. When I was doing masters, about 200 people, but 80 nationalities, which is too good. So when I came back, I put on a clear process chart, which never existed in this market. Clear process chart about everything that I'm facing. And then I didn't set the IT structure. Got someone on board and defined these are my problems. How can we attach tech to this? And then we built a self-sufficient system internally. I wouldn't say it happened overnight. It happened over a few years. For example, small things like because our thing completely depends on site visits, completely site measurements, site work. There are basic things like we've started integrating field task managers for daily attendances, no discrepancies for salaries. So you start off at the bottom level for the bottom employee, where they were the pain points that they were facing in terms of salary payment, unnecessary salary deductions, because they were not able to report or structure their whole process correctly. So we implemented small things, and then we built up like field task managers. Then we have basic things like HRMS, which may seem basic to bigger companies. But our whole protocol was set the last 10 years. The whole process flow that we have from the customer, the first touch point till the delivery is captured on the central CRM platform now, after so many years. So this is something we constantly do, even though at my scale of business, many people don't even do these kind of things. But I believe that this will help me ease out my day-to-day operation.
Very true. That's wonderful, Adit, to hear. I had another question on the previous answer response that you had given us. You said you have multiple brands for different segments, different markets, and also different customer demographics, etc. Right? So, what is that engine that you have in house to decide about these brands and also to launch these brands? Are you self sufficient in terms of these new launches, or do you depend on right people from outside? How do you do it?
So I
Because
think
multiple brand management is a thing that only HULs and PNGs of the world have successfully done,
Correct.
right? Otherwise,
Correct.
a lot of people have one prime brand and rest of the brands are subdued.
Correct. So basically, I mean, in our case, I wouldn't say we were completely successful, all of them. We burned our hands in many places, but few survived over the course. So I think the biggest factor is our back-end integration of our factory, which plays a key role to modulate between different segments of the market. So that gives us confidence to go to the market to launch brands based on our manufacturing capability. And to add to that, we have clearly defined a lot of verticals of how to structure each of these brands. And each brand has its structure laid out very different. Though it's the same parent company, same management. Every vertical has its own substructure like a company. Yeah. Nothing is linked that okay, I have some person working for one company, we'll do the same person for the next company, we'll do the same company for the next company. Every company, for example, at the basic level, would have its own accounts team, own marketing team, different agencies that we would be working externally with. So every brand is substructured into a smaller company. So that's
So
where
you
I
are the
think
only people common
yeah, we're the
who's
only
changing
people.
hands.
Yeah, only the management and the core team at the top is the one who's changing hands. Yeah, and we try to assign some time every week to each brand, and then we review bi-weekly or whatever with the.
And can you tell me a little bit about where all have you traveled and how the travel has shaped up how you think about life in general and also about business in particular? What does it make you? Like, how does it help you, shape you?
Travel is something very personal to me. I'm sure it's to everyone. Everyone travels differently. Everyone has their own way of traveling. But for me, it's like I enjoy it. For example, I was in Paris last week. I landed today morning, and I'm leaving to China tonight again. So last week was my creative learning trip where I went to meet a lot of artists and designers, which helps me shape my creative clarity because I work with high-end residences and clients who expect this kind of things from. I went to a lot of galleries. This was a learning trip for me, and then I'm flying to China tonight on a core vendor meeting kind of a situation. So for me, travel and work, for example, I travel and then I could even attach 2 days of work. So I try to keep on learning during my travels, and it's an extensive list of where all I travel. So I would not be able to mention all of that. It's extensive. Predominantly, I've visited most places.
Yeah.
So that's a
7
blessing.
continents.
I'm trying to finish, except the last continent this December. So let's go. Yeah.
Wish you
Yeah,
good
so
luck with that last
yeah,
continent.
thank you. So that's the thing. It's still in loop. So that'll be nice to visit Antarctica or something. Anyway, so travel predominantly, I think it's someone should definitely go. You bring a lot of thought clarity to your own business. So that becomes the crux of my business. I meet different people. I meet different designers just to understand how they approach the problem. Even I would have or they would have. It really helped me sometimes to understand the problem. So I try to visit a lot of factories to bring back what they do, what are the standards. So it's very important to me that I do these things. And I've learned a lot throughout this, and I really, really have implemented a lot of things from different. And also, when someone's in perspective of their own view that they're sitting at a desk and working all day from one side of the market, they would never see what the other company is doing, which I think is wrong. They would always think that their ways are the ways to go. But I don't think so. I think every day you can add something of value.
They are
So
our neighbors and also becoming our close friends in the recent
yeah,
past.
recent past, yes.
Of course, maybe time to learn a lesson or two from there, of course. But
Correct.
they have started as this mass market engine for the world, right? At the very cheap. But now, today, their quality is on par with any other European country or any other international country. So,
See, it
how
was
do you
always
think they
wrongly
made that
marketed.
jump?
No, I think it was always wrongly marketed something. Yeah, you always got what you paid for. Is always I
Paid
believe.
for?
Correct? Yeah.
Hmm.
So in China, I work with companies which are even beyond European countries that they manufacture. It's
Okay.
you get what you pay for. As simple as
Hmm.
that. Correct? It was just mismarketed that China is a cheap quality country. Correct? I work with a lot of clients in high-end bungalows. I'm talking a few hundreds of crores worth of bungalows that I do custom furniture from China. A lot of builders. They wouldn't do that if the quality or the design was bad. And they produce this at the fastest turnaround compared to Europe with the same standards if needed.
Right.
So, as simple as that. You pay for an apple, you get an apple. It's as simple as that. You will get alternatives. You will get a cheap deal. As simple as that. If you say, this is my budget, you get what budget you have. So, they will never say no to an order that you should get. But they will know how to backward cost cut into the same.
Yeah, and we should know how to do our own quality management,
Exactly.
quality
We should
specs, and
exactly. So that's very, very, very important on how you work with China, which companies you work with China. I think it comes with a lot of experience. A lot of newcomers come, they just think going to China will solve their problem, but that's not the way. Then everyone would have been doing the same thing.
and there would be good, bad, ugly everywhere, right? We should know how to
100%. 100%.
differentiate them and
100%.
evaluate them.
100%. And it's not easy maneuvering that market. Only with years of experience that you will be able to. A big language barrier, communication barrier in terms of most of your international emails or websites don't. So it comes over a period of time how you crack that.
And also a lot of cultural differences when they are actually our neighbors, the way they
Lot
look towards
extensive.
people and the way they allow you into your private quarters and all of those things
Correct.
are very
It's
different.
very, very, very different. But once you know them, I have a lot of Chinese friends, and once you become close to them, they become like family. I realize how no Europeans or the West would ever become like these guys can be. Because I work with Italians and Europeans very close. I work with Chinese very close. So a first-hand experience working with both of them. As a company, I would say half my work would be with the European and half with the Chinese. So I work almost every day with. So
Interesting
it's
dynamic that you're
yeah,
dealing with. On the
yeah,
one
it's
end,
very
they
different.
are your
Europeans
creative
was
people.
yeah. I mean, Europeans would never go the distance for you, even if you are giving them the biggest order. Forget order, even after years of association. And China, on the other hand, even though you have not done years of association, have no order for them, but tell them you're from this company, you have a certain prospect, they will go the distance for you, even if it's your first interaction. So that is the biggest cultural difference that I see between two sides of it. So I
So
think that's
you
what
picked up.
added to their efficiency of building their economy because they went the
Okay.
distance for people. Adding to
They
your
went the
previous
distance.
question of how they grow. So this is one of the biggest reasons. They go the distance. They will
Interesting.
not let go you just like that.
It's so
They'll fight
nice
till
to
the
hear.
end. Yeah, they'll fight till the end. For example, you have a project and I said, this is the price point and this is the quality I expect. They will give you multiple iterations of the same thing. They will not let go easily. But you see the ways they'll throw something at you and they say, this is it. You either accept it and let it go. But no, these guys fight till the end.
It also gives me a nice warm sense of commonality in our cultures, right? So
Yes.
it is true for Indians also. I'm taking a lot of positive angle from you in terms of how Chinese think and how it is similar to our way of thinking and our way of
Correct.
doing things. So
Correct.
it's lovely to know that. But have you picked up some Chinese in the process?
Actually, no. I always thought I should learn Chinese, but I communicate like numbers, this, that, few things that I'm when I'm there. But predominantly, most good companies today speak English because today their reach is not just Chinese markets, but they are on global stand. So they want to cater to the world. And in simple terms, I would say they're the world's supermarket. And you cannot, whatever said, and live because they've created a manufacturing ecosystem that is not easy to match.
So across supply chains, across industries, their presence is very solidly felt, right? So it is
Very, very
not
solidly
possible.
felt. Because I'll tell you simple. So many times we've tried collaborations with Chinese companies to start up operations in India. Government put aside, like when you start doing the R&D and research and to manufacture an X product which is available in China at a certain cost, and you do try to do the same thing here. It's even though after importing, I would have been 30 to 40% more higher manufacturing in India after paying the import taxes. It's only because we don't have a backward integrated manufacturing supply chain. For example, I need a component X. In China, there would be 200 manufacturers for the same component fighting for that order. But here, you would have one order. That's it. And they would demand the price. So that's the biggest ecosystem. I think Mr. Modi is trying to do certain things, but I think we're still much behind them. But I'm sure we'll get there someday because now India is doing good manufacturing. In my industry, at least, I see a lot of new brands coming in. A lot of good furniture designing is happening. Yes, manufacturing may take some more time, but at least people are thinking in that direction to be global.
The point about ecosystem that you have mentioned is beautiful, right? So, for example,
Yeah.
on the dais of India, Hyderabad has tried to form that ecosystem on various things. And
Correct.
similarly, India is trying to replicate the ecosystem. Somehow, in the process of growth, we have done agriculture and directly stepped into services, forgetting the
Correct.
manufacturing element of it
Correct.
or
Even
something
digital
like that.
penetration is
Yeah.
fabulous in India.
Yeah.
It's
We
just
have
phenomenal.
moved
I
on
think
to
we,
the
yeah,
DPGs and services and IT.
I think we skipped a big phase of, for example, a natural way of looking at it. If you look at developed economies, you would have a bank account first, then you would have a debit card, then you would have a credit card, then you have certain credit instruments in place. Then comes your digital payments, and that's how you grow up the ladder. But India has drastically just avoided a 30, 40 years for example, I don't see my worker having a credit card, but he has GP. So you have conveniently 20, 30 years, India has skipped and taken the digital penetration directly into a digital payment system, and that's becoming very strong. I've seen that help me also. The transactions happen so far. The same lines, my question was more about in this world of AI. How do you think AI will be utilized by an average Indian or a businessman, an average Indian businessman to kind of catapult that phasing, the growth, the step up that we have So I'll
done
take
in
my
our
own
industry?
example. My dad, for example, is not a very tech savvy guy. I don't blame him. He comes from that generation or whatever. These are hard workers and they believe in manual work. They believe in people being present in office. They believe in rosters and roll calls. They don't believe in remote working or working on a half day or engaging on your personal errand during the day. This is not the culture and the background most of our parents come from. Correct? Adith, wait for a few more years. The Gen Z is going to complain about us also in a similar manner. Exactly. I understand where you're coming because I see my children they're already too smart than what I can think. So coming from that, my own dad, because these are the proactive guys, and he started using ChatGPT. I'm giving a small example, and then he's building on certain things which he never thought were important to document. He talks to ChatGPT about how we can improve a manufacturing process in a more efficient and he makes notes and then he tries to implement those in the factory SOP these days if he thinks something is valid with his experience. So you see that generation adapting to AI and trying to learn about their own product who they thought they knew everything, still trying to learn something and adapt it into the daily process. So this is a personal small experiment and I think most people are trying to do that. At least my own dad is trying to do that. Otherwise, these people think they know everything. So but he's learning every day. I can see him learn. He's taken a ChatGPT premium membership because he's liking it so much. So he's daily he's doing certain things, and then he's trying to assign these things, and then I think he's still learning. He's 60 now almost. So he's still like in that learning phase. So this was really good to see that even AI is able to help someone like my dad. In fact, he feels he's more efficient now after using these things. And he feels that the knowledge is so fast and the answers are so efficient that he's creating a lot of manuals with ChatGPT, which he could never do. Otherwise, he had to involve some manual guy, involve his EA, involve his back office, some agency, and there's a whole redundancy of process. And then you pay hefty money, and then your ideas and vision is not translated into what you're trying to say. Then you're disappointed. Okay, you've done all this, then you lose 6 months of time and then you're demotivated to take the next step. But this kind of thing, AI, I think, is helping shape the future when the older generations also are trying to add some value into the new process.
Interesting.
Now, you don't
In
need to
fact,
depend on any, he's not depending on anyone. He's like, if you want something, it's become his like personal assistant, like in a more structured way.
I was reading some article which said the people who are benefiting the maximum out of AI are the people who understand and think first principles, not the people
Correct.
who have done documentation or thought
Correct.
processes and all of that,
Correct.
right? Execution
Correct.
people will not benefit from it because that part
Not
is
at
now
all.
being done, replaced by ChatGPT. What probably
Correct.
the people who will benefit most are the thinking people, the first
Exactly.
principle
I
thinking
mean, like
people
how
who
you
will
prompt
use
it
it.
is the kind of beautiful answers you get.
Yeah.
Because I see he talks to it like a friend now. Like, talks about manufacturing processes, how he can improve his quality of doors. This is what he's doing. What else can he do? And all those kind of things. Sometimes you may not be able to think, but this machine thinks.
Actually, I was using Perplexity the other day, voiceover,
Yeah.
just learning about some new industry and what happens in that industry in terms of climate change and all of that. I just heard some Telugu word that my child used and picked
Said,
up Telugu language. I was
wow,
like, wow. And
that's
now there
crazy.
is no barrier, there is no language
Correct.
barrier. And he
Correct.
just started explaining the same concept in Telugu to me.
Correct. That's
Right?
crazy.
That's
That's just crazy.
beautiful. And
And
what
they're
is
using
happening?
this to connect even with my grandchildren to make up stories. I mean, there's some
Yes.
form of this integration between the generational link
Generations.
also. So it's helping them connect better.
So, taking this back to your industry, what do you think AI revolution can do to furniture industry, and what is your call to entrepreneurs in your industry to set up? Like you were saying, I'm missing so many pieces in the ecosystem in India,
Correct.
whereas this gap is not there in China. So, what if somebody is very keen in setting up something? What would you want as
So
a
right now we are
vendor?
building something internally also where there's a lot of redundant process in making presentations, in doing a lot of things, browsing through thousands of catalogs for a customer when we're working with Italians or the Chinese. But we're developing a platform where we are picking up. In fact, we have developed something on our own where the conversation of my customer is being recorded, and this platform, we're running it on beta now. This platform is making presentations on. If the customer or the designer are giving us, he needs a chair like this in the living room, he needs a table like this in the living room, and then we are prompting it internally, and it's making what would have taken me 7 to 10 days is taking me a day now. So it's picking up sofas, it's picking up wardrobes from different catalogs that I work with across different markets, and it's giving me a raw presentation which manually has to be just structured.
So you built a tech team inside Adith? Are you doing it with
So
building
it's
wrappers around chat GPTs and
so I
the
have a
LLMs of the world?
decent I wouldn't say tech team. I have a decent supporting IT structure with a decent team, but I take a lot of external help to these kind of
Nice, lovely. Interesting to know that you have that kind of ecosystem and support.
because many people don't understand that one solution is not fit for all. I have different problems in my own company. I may not find a solution in the market, but this is something we're working for our own efficiency, and you never know, it can become a product for the industry eventually.
Industry also. Yeah. But you
Yeah,
have been
because this is
somebody
a
who has developed your own tech products all the while, right? You have developed your own tech products, customized your own
yes.
products right from the
Yes,
beginning.
maybe I
And
wouldn't say from the beginning, but we would have been taking certain modules and customizing it. I wouldn't say we never took a module like from a Microsoft or anything and just fit it into my system. It will never work for us because I have different problems in my industry, which again it will be bypassed through the system and we do manual things, which we did. We've always taken the base from bigger companies and built on that. We've taken APIs and then integrated it into our system.
so, what does it take for a brand or a company to remain relevant for so many years? Like guys have been in this business for decades. Like if you
Yes.
count the third generation, it must be 80 years now, right?
Yeah, 70 years,
Uh,
67.
70,
Yeah.
80 years. So,
57.
what does it take for a brand to stay relevant to the times? And that too in an industry like furniture, which is quick evolving and very like
Very
season to
design
season.
oriented. Every 3 months you're seeing new designs and
new
things like
designs,
that.
new catalog, and new design, right?
New, correct. So to add to this one, great question. I made a point earlier. How you pivot in this
Pivot.
industry? Everyone thinks that just buying and selling furniture is the industry, but no. Once you start digging deeper, there are bigger opportunities that lie there for you. In terms of you can service the governments, you can service the builders, you can service high-end clients, you can service corporates. So these are an opportunity by themselves. And when these companies, if a builder would be growing year on year, he would launch projects. An IT office would be growing year on year. A government would be launching new offices year on year. So if I was only relying on my retail operations, we don't think we would have been successful to this point. Constantly, my company or my top management, my directors, for my outlet, that we're pivoting into projects, we're pivoting into corporates, we're pivoting into builders. So I think a pivot for a business is very important at the right time to mark your place. So today, if not B2B, I have B2C. If one market is not doing well, I have something else to fall back. My retail is not doing well, I have a BD team and I have a manufacturing team that we're working. So there are different industries that my company can fall back in the given. So for some people are hardly dependent on retail. And if a retail industry is not performing well, it directly impacts them. And I wouldn't say that for because I'm operating in the luxury space, a mid-luxury space, or a manufacturing B2B, B2C. So you can't say all the 6, 7 industries would die at the same time. So we have some 70% of our verticals would be performing at any.
Performing.
But right now, if you
It
see in
also
Hyderabad,
means
especially
that, sorry, you were talking.
right now, if you see the retail market is kind of a slump in Hyderabad. But parallelly, we do a lot of high-end residences, high-end bungalows, work with builders, we work with co So that's keeping us going with a flat retail operation.
You've talked about two beautiful concepts. The core offering remains furniture, but you
Yeah.
have a representation of this core offering for different segments and
Yes.
sectors, and
Yes.
that kind of keeps you going in any kind of market, right?
Correct.
I mean, there will be a retail up market, retail down
Yes.
market, government investments, timelines,
Correct.
and all of that, right?
Corporates
So it's
investing.
beautiful.
Like right now, we're trying to pitch in for the Google office for all the furniture and cubicles. We do a lot of
A
offices.
lot of
So that becomes
GCCs
an-
are coming into
Yeah, so
continue.
like that, I work with Shapu Tripology. I work with big corporates like Tata, who do a lot of projects across the country. So I mean, if someone from my industry who started off like from a small store in a small corner of the city can think and do and penetrate into the big corporates. I work with big corporates, and it's not easy to get past the standards of a Tata Projects or a Shapu Tripology, and it's not easy the kind of standards they have. And if I'm able to penetrate that, I'm sure most of my peers can do it as well. Yeah, it's just
about
that you need to
thinking
think that
customer
way.
first.
Yes, and you
Thinking
need to
customer
think.
first,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and you need to think about these things as an opportunity. You should not fear the process or the structure of these gigantic companies.
Yeah.
If not, I always tell my team, if you are not able to service this client, there's someone else right next door willing to service this client. Then I tell them, why not us? Why them? So this is very standard discussion I had with my team. If not you, there's someone ready to service your client. So
There
we
is no
should be there.
dearth
And
of offerings in
there
the
is
world.
no dearth of offerings in the world today. And then there's a ready person waiting to take away the order right below. So for us, that's very important to pivot into different markets.